sê, hier is ons nou nog 'n episode van Uit Die Koekblik. Lekker, en ons het vandag sit ons hierso, 'n warm dag hierso by 'n baie goeie vriend van my. Nou gaan sy naam eers sê. En dan gaan die helfte van die mense nie weet wie ek van praat nie. Sekoma Sherwa, beter bekend as Sex Sherwa. Sex, welkom by Uit Die Koekblik.
Ja.
Welkom by ons. We're going to go over to the English now, just to. But
English
although you can speak a bit of Afrikaans, but
Ag, net 'n bietjie.
net 'n bietjie.
Ja.
Thank you for having us here today. It's absolutely stunning having a chat with you. Absolute legend of the game as well. Sex, someone going to fall into the thing. You born in Transkei, and then you came to Joburg.
Yeah, I was actually born in Soweto, in Midlands. And
Okay.
then obviously when I was in Alati, went over through to Transkei. I grew up in Kala and Ladyfrey. You won't believe it, herding a bit of sheep and stuff like that. But yeah, then I came up here, I think at about age 6, and then obviously I started my career up here.
Okay, and then you went. Give us a bit of your background with the primary schools, and we'll come to the high schools now. Let's just do the primary schools here.
Yeah, so I started off at Saints Prep, so I managed to get to standard 4 before I got the boot. But yeah, that's who I was. And then the headmaster at the time actually took me over to the Ridge to go redo standard 4 to get me right for high school, and then did standard 5, managed perfectly. Then I moved up to Michael House.
Okay, and that's now where the whole story starts with the sexual story of schools. Now, just give us a quick one where all the schools that you went to. Let's get that out of the way.
Geez, thanks. Yeah, anyway, so I lasted 2 years at Michael House, standard 6 and 7, grade 8, grade 9. I managed to get booted out end of grade 9 year. Then I went to St. Albans. I was there for 1 year, that's grade 10, and then got the boot from there. And I ended up at St. Martin's, south of Johannesburg. So luckily I did 2 years there, and the week before my finals, I managed to get the boot from there as well. But I was only allowed to come back and write my matric.
Oh, okay. And the reason for being booted out was you a naughty guy.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just part of your system, and strange enough, by doing that, I think bringing it into today's thing, you at Northcliffe today, and you're helping kids not to be naughty, not to be sex.
No, that's proper. Yeah, exactly that. And you're not just minor stuff. You get your private schools where they'll write a whole little book about you, and then once they've had enough, they'll actually say, listen, you got to leave. So I wasn't really expelled. I was asked to leave. So I left on my own. But if I'd stayed and then I got expelled, then I wouldn't make it into another private school. But because my sport was so good, my cricket and my rugby, the schools obviously looked and said, here's talent. And obviously I came there, then I butchered it up, and I thought, no, this is too much for us. So let's just let him go. But yeah, as you say, now at Northcliffe, doing some counselling there. I've just qualified in that now about 6 months ago. So which is pretty lekker, and helping out the kids that are almost going the wrong track. So
Sex, just to bring it in, what do you, obviously we're sitting with a generation that's falling, and in each and every of our programs you talk about how kids are struggling in today's life. Give us a little bit of background of how do you get a kid, how do you get a little Sex back on track? Let's use it that way.
You know, it's obviously it's got to come from parenthood. So luckily my mom and dad have been married for so long, even though I lost my dad about 3 years ago. It helps if the two parents are together once you're going through high school. So what normally happens, the troubled kids will come from one parent families. So the one kid, normally what happens is maybe the parents split, and then the mom can't look after the kid, or the dad can't, and they send him to grandma, and then he goes and causes a bit of trouble there, and then they try and rope him in. It's just, I think, the parenthood getting that kid in, so he can learn from mom and dad if they're there together. So if the kids are spread out all over the place, they tend to pick up other stuff from different environments. You know, you go to mom's place, you'll pick up certain things there, then you go to dad's place, you pick up certain things. And when you come to a school, then, you know, you've got both these ideas in your head, and you don't know which one's the right one because you haven't really been looked after in the right direction to go. So it is a bit difficult, but especially nowadays, I mean, you can see some of the kids now. I've got a thing that just get the kids just to go and do sport, do something.
Listen, you actually jumping where I actually want to take it is the fact that that sports is the easiest medium of getting them involved. And strange enough, when you put them in team sports,
Yeah.
it's even better than putting him in, say, one of the like tennis or something where he has to be on his own.
So I've got a motto that I've been using, and I play sport and stay out of court. And I think it just says exactly what it is.
Wow.
So once you're playing sport, you don't have too much time to think about other things and whatever. When you got a lot of time in your hands, you start thinking, how can I make money? Maybe if I do that, do that. Do you know what I mean? You've got lots of time to think about stuff. So I think once your mind is busy, it's actually quite difficult to get into trouble.
And rugby's got the unique form of where it's actually bringing everything to ground level for everyone. We are all on the same page. I mean, that's if you're Afrikaans, if you're English, if you're black, if you're white, doesn't matter where you're going. It's a natural place to come to, and it's just...
No, 100%. And I think that's where you find most of your mates, you know, from different backgrounds, and then you guys are playing for each other, sweating blood, sweating tears for each other, you know, we stick up, and it just makes a huge difference, and you're actually part of something, you know, and that's, I think, where people start valuing their lives. You're actually being part of something. Actually, you get out of trouble, you keep yourself out of trouble, You keep yourself out of trouble by keeping into that little community that you've got, and then you don't really want to cause kak. You don't want to throw the name away, you want to keep that. So I think it also just keeps you away from distractions. So I'd rather be with my rugby mates the whole time, because I know I won't get into trouble.
And then you start playing for your team, and you start playing for your mates. Yeah, brilliant. It's actually, you end up after school and you went and played some club rugby, and you were in a unique position to actually get into Provincial. I was very honoured, firstly, to play with you in club level, against you firstly in club level, and then later on we got to a stage where we played Provincial together. Give us a bit of a...
Yeah, I won't say unique. I think at the time, provinces were put under pressure to put in black players, and I don't think many provinces did the right way in actually grooming their players. So if you went to a private school, obviously you played rugby, it would be easy to pick out that plays rugby. So there's a few of us. They picked us, put us through the line, set up, okay, cool, here's our quota, we sorted, we're done. So they didn't actually blood us. We were already blooded by the private schools. So yeah, and I think we were probably one of the first to actually be part of that. And at times it wasn't lekker because you knew why you were in the team, because you couldn't really prove yourself.
But you played good rugby, I mean...
No, but mate, I had, your Yapi Milders. They were sitting bench for me. They were my World Cup heroes in 95. Now in 98 and 99, I'm playing with them. They're sitting bench for me. Now who the hell am I type of thing, you know? Then it tweaked, like this is what was needed by the country or by the union. And again, as I say, I think it was done probably, it was the right intent, but done in the wrong way. So we weren't really being blooded in, you were just chucked into the middle right chest, go and play. But listen, I had a couple of guys there, Johanri, I'm still in touch with them, you know, they were actually like, they took it in, everyone took it in, Johannes Stradums, you know, the guys were so nice to you, you know what I mean? And you were like, let me up my game here and just not disappoint because of my colour and why I'm here. And yeah, you get dropped here and there, and you know, you build character from that and you move up, it gets you a bit stronger. So yeah, it was hard times back then trying to accept. And again, part of the reason I was around too long, being a quota, it just didn't stand well with me, and I decided to pack my bags after I broke my leg against Wanderers. And just go overseas and just go play where no one's going to look at colour, just see the potential and you go and play. So that was part of the reason.
Yeah, it's a bit of an unfair time for everyone at that stage, but there was still a lot of development going on, and I think there was there was something needed to be done, but no one actually knew how they're going to get to that target that they want to get to.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, a guy like you that really played good rugby felt like you were a quota player, but you were actually a brilliant player. And that's the nice part of it. The first time I met up with you was you were playing for Vits Tech, and you were a good centre. I mean, really, there's one thing about the centre. Let's start off with that. The centre is a strong, big guy, but they got the biggest mouth on the field. But saying that as well, and I'll put it on camera, I think if I must take all the positions on a rugby field, I think the centre is the toughest position on the whole field, because, and not just saying it for your sake, it's just a very tough position to play. You need to grind it. There's no second dance on that.
Yeah, no, listen, you're busy, and there's no like taking a break or stand on the wing and take a deep breath or whatever. You're always making hits, you're getting up. I think Laurie Mains put me under pressure the one game. Actually, all the games I played in, he was like, you need to be my defensive captain. You got to make sure everyone is in line, because if there's an overlap anywhere, they're going to blame me. So I need to be verbal, and obviously throw in a bit of the old chirps there and there.
And you were chirping. You were chirping, Saxon. I was a big chirper on the field, but I think you maybe took the honours of.
So you're saying if we had a competition of chirping for South Africa, I would have won it?
You would have won. You were privileged to play for Vits Tech at the RV Mulder Stadium, and I mean there was something about that team that I was telling so many people about this, and I was honoured to speak to Gerrie Gerbershuis the other day. And I said, Gerrie, how did you manage to do this? Because there was that, they never had the senior side, they had the under 21 side, but you guys were monsters. You guys took everything apart that was in front of you.
Geez, I tell you, with guys like Gerrie on, geez, going back in those days, and I tell you, that team could have easily been on the South African side. I'm not just saying that. I mean, as you know, the characters that we had in that team was just, I mean, we had two teams actually. We had an A and a B, and we were both as strong. We were both in the same league, and we'd both come 1 and 2 in that league. It was funny when we had to play UJ, or RAU at the time, Rand Afrikaanse Universiteit. They had to stop all the fixtures, make sure that there's no provincial games are happening, to load their side to play against us at Tech. And I think I was probably, was there two of us, maybe myself and Pro Mobilani were the only two in that Vits Tech side, playing against the Transvaal side. We were just the two missing in that line side. And listen, they came up on that field at the top there, and yeah, I think we won at the death. I remember stepping out in the middle before I even scored. I already thrown him a chip that I'll chat to you later, and under the sticks we scored, and I had a Darren Jadon on my outside flip. We just, it was, I'm getting goosebumps right now just speaking about it. And it was just a tough team, and I actually don't think we ever lost. I think we lost to UJ maybe twice. But that whole time we were just unbeaten. I mean, we were giving, even Pirates back in the day, they were taking 100 from us. We'd go out to play picker, we'd give them like 50. If you look at it now, it's turned the other way, you know, but even though the guys are competing, it's a pity that they lost out. Vits Tech grew together with UJ, and I think it kind of lost its meaning. But
yeah, that was a capsule on its own. Vits Tech was a capsule, or let's call it the juniors Vits Tech, because they were not the seniors, but that was a capsule with the best coach around, Gerrie, with you guys playing there. And for strange reasons, we would go and play at RV Mulder Stadium, next to the SABC towers, and I tell you, and you maybe get the belief in a change room, we're going to take this game today, and we'll run out, and as we got on the field, you guys are like,
listen,
this is not going to happen.
We were threatened if we lost any matches. I don't know if you know the bottom of Auckland Park, to get to the top at the tower.
Sure, that's a bit...
that was there was a certain time you had to make it in, otherwise...
So in my whole story, you guys came down to Paris to play a game against us as an under 21 side.
I know where you're going.
And here's where the story came. That was the years before there were so many red cards and yellow cards. And you went into a mall, and my mate Wayne Els, that was my eighthman, started shouting, and he says, "Someone is biting me! Someone is biting me!" And it ended up being you. And I can remember the first thing I was busy was, I'm like, yes, I'm going to go smash this guy's face in, because you were really biting on this side. And Wayne was just going mad. And eventually a ref broke this up, and I didn't get my punch in. And we walked away. And I'm happy I didn't get the punch in, because you're a mate of mine today. And we moved away, and you were just chirping, and Wayne was complaining about this bite. He's like, "Ref, check it." I can't even remember where you bit him, but you went full throttle.
Yeah, no, listen, he had his fingers in the wrong place. So you know what happens when you can't see it or whatever. So I'm like, no, geez, this is going to cause damage. So I got hold of this guy's finger and he bitched like a bitch. And I bit him and I remember him screaming. And the rest of the game, he was trying to chase me. He was standing out in the centres trying to chase me.
And today you guys are mates. I mean, you guys are in a good place. So actually, you had an amazing time on clubs. Please just give us a bit of your everywhere where you play. There's some beautiful jerseys around, and we're going to put it all on your program as well. But wow, you've been around the park.
Yeah, well, but so I finished up at Pirates, and obviously I left after I broke my leg, and decided let me go start something fresh, and not being looked at for my colour. So I spoke to a mate of mine, Paul Church. He's moved back to Dublin now. So I had a chat with him, and I met up with his brother and sister. They came to South Africa, so I took them on a tour to Soweto and whatever, you know, just through the old trip. What's a rugby like there? You know, haven't been overseas. Well, not playing rugby, but haven't been to Ireland. What's it like? They said, well, make a plan and we'll sort you out. So then I looked at them and I'm like, okay, cool. And at the time, myself and Stevie Theobald were busy chatting and looking and going overseas. We were actually looking kind of Wales because Stevie had a Welsh passport. So when the time came, I put my money down and Stevie didn't. Well, actually bought the ticket. I said, right, here we go. So it was basically an open ticket. And anyway, I decided, Ireland, here we go. So I pop into Ireland and I think I was staying with Churchy's mom for about, I think a month. Then I found myself a job and working for Coca-Cola as a merchandiser, packing up shelves and stuff like that, and a company car. Mate, I was in heaven, you know. I'm earning from rugby and I'm earning from the company, so that was quite cool. So I was there in Dublin for 2 years. Once I finished up in Dublin, then I got a job with the Irish Rugby Union. I went down to Tipperary, it was one of the junior clubs there, and to go and help coach there and obviously work with the Irish Rugby Union as a development officer. So popped up there, I was there for a year. I fell out with one of my bosses, John Lacey, who's head of the referees now in Ireland. So him and I fell out, so I gave him the finger, and then I packed my bags and I headed down to Cork. I arrived in Cork, and let me tell you, these boys, actually I met my mate Finton at a touch game. There was big touch happening competition. So he came up to me and was like, hey, where do you play? I'm like, actually, I'm about to leave. I'm looking to go down to Cork. And so him and I took numbers down. And then I had the president phone me and like, I believe you're coming down. I said, yeah, I am. So I met up with him and things just kicked off from there, you know. So played there with them, and then there was a opening for a player coach in one of the junior clubs. So I thought, let me try and stick it, because I was coaching at the time. I'd like to play and coach and see what it's like. So I really enjoyed the time of playing and coaching, but there was a difference. Like finds meetings, you know, the coach can't be fined. You know what I mean? But anyway, yeah. Then I went down with Musgrave, so I ended up coaching at Musgrave Rugby Club. I think my first 5 games we lost on the trot, and I thought, oof, Jesus. This is going to be a tough battle, because I caught the club. They were just at the bottom of, they were nearly relegated. They won the one game to stay up. So then I come in, and it looks like we were going downhill. First 5 games. So I pulled the boys in. I was like, guys, listen, we're 5 games in, we haven't won a game. We need to turn this around quickly. For myself and for yourselves, we need to make stuff happen. So I'm a big Liverpool fan. I think General Cisse was playing at the time. And I said to the guys, if we win the next game, and I had a beard as well, if we win the next game, I'll peroxide everything. My whole hair, and basically I looked like General Cisse. So went out on the 6th game, and we came out with a win, and then the other boys were chuffed. Now they wanted to see me with my hair. So I had to go and peroxide my hair. And walking around town, everyone thought that I was this General Cisse, you know, from Liverpool. Yeah. Here he is, what's he doing in Cork type of thing. So yeah, we did well actually with that club. I think we won the next 8 games. So by the time I left them at a middle table. The guys did well. Then I came back to Sunday as well. Obviously playing with my mates there, it was like some great times, you know what I mean? So then I moved back there, and yeah, I decided to come back to South Africa, I think in 2007. And yeah, just try and start up. So I came back to Pirates, and I was playing third team. I think I remember Glenn Cobber Whiskey on the side going, "Yes, who's that fat oak in the centres?" And the guys, "That's Sax." No way, there's no way. But yeah, and obviously I've stayed that way. The Guinness is still here, so I'm at 130 now. A pure solid passion.
Oh, you're so solid passion.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. So I'm at 130 now, but I'm maintaining. So yeah, I'm
if
good.
You keep it there, I mean, it's hard work keeping it there.
No, I know. So,
But actually there in Dublin, obviously, I think your biggest challenge is weather. Am I right? It's tough playing, and especially you guys in the back line. It's a bit different ball game and playing dry weather versus wet weather.
yeah, that's I tell you, it was difficult. That I mean, I had props who were quicker than me, and I was a centre. I mean, I wasn't used to running in that mud. It was like ankle deep, and then we'd be chasing a ball, and this prop just comes past me,
Yeah,
and I'm
that's
like,
the problem,
Jesus, this act's quicker than me, but they were so conditioned in running there, and yeah, it was tough. But you know, you get used to it, you know, so as you know your basics, you get a bit closer to the ball and you can hardly spin past it because the ball's so full of mud. It's just passing like mud.
So you're standing closer as well, obviously.
Yeah, so they wanted to use me as a battering ram, and I was never a battering ram as a 12 smash oaks. I was normally trying to create and putting people into space and that type of stuff, which worked, but obviously when you're too close, you know, the guys are just around you, but you just got to work out what exactly you can do in your plan. But no, there were some good times, and you know, and again, it's how you take the weather. You know, I used to run in the weather. I think my first time I arrived, I think I told you, I arrived there, I went to my first training session. So I was on a bike and I cycled down about 5Ks. You know, I've just got my bag and my boots, t-shirt and shorts. Arrive at the club, meet the guys in the changing room, and all these guys are putting on like beanies, track suits, and 2 pairs of track suits, and I'm looking at these guys, Jesus, these guys are flipping mad, what are they doing? Anyway, we take 2 laps and then it starts pissing with rain. And here I am.
Just stuck with your little t-shirt.
Yeah. So my mate Tim Jagger comes to me, he's like, listen, welcome to Dublin. Yeah, make sure you come prepared, you know what I mean, and all that type of stuff. So yeah, no, you start adapting. I mean, when you were cycling, you've got your raincoat rolled up in your bag. It pisses with rain, you stop, you put your raincoat on, and you carry on. So for somebody who's not used to that and willing to change, I don't think you'll last long, you'll be miserable. And the best part of the times are spent in the pub.
Well, you can't be an island without being in the pub. I mean, that's...
Well, there we go. Yeah. But I came as a semi-pro because I couldn't be spending time in the pub, you know. So I was drinking away in different pubs where the oaks would never see me. They're like, Jesus, I never drink. So, but meantime, I was involved somewhere else, you know.
So actually your local clubs that you played, strange enough, you played for the 2 biggest rivals. Actually 3 biggest rivals. You played for Diggers. And you played for Pirates.
Diggers, never.
I never played for Diggers.
No, maybe this was Old Boys Touch.
Old Boys Touch, okay.
Yeah, we'll normally, when you play Old Boys, there were short numbers on the go play.
Okay, but it's still, you're playing for the rivals. Oh. But you played Pirates, you played Wanderers, you played Tech.
Wanderers, where are these coming from?
When you coming here with the Wanderers?
No, we swapped jerseys.
Oh.
No, it's, I've actually been just 2 clubs in Joburg.
Okay.
And that's been it. I've never moved anywhere else. It was at Vits Tech and Pirates.
No, I had to bring that in.
And funny enough, Martin Skipper's Bungie, he's the guy that got me down to Pirates. We were at trials with the Lions, and Afrikaans guys will stick together. So I was hovering in between, you know, some of the coloured oaks and the English-speaking guys. So Bungie comes up to me and says, "Hey, where are you playing next year?" I don't know. He says, "Well, come down to Pirates." I says, "What, the soccer team?" He says, No. There's a rugby team." I said, "Where?" "In Greenside." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." So him and I took numbers down and everything was lekker. I think that Monday, popped down to Pirates. And I remember the chairmans at the time, they were so excited to see me, and I was wondering, like, what the hell is going on here? So anyway, I meet up with Bungie, he introduces me to the guys and whatever. All the big promises. I mean, I didn't come there for that, you know. So there's big promises, we'll give you this, and there's a house over here, there's this, there's that. I wouldn't mention any names, but anyway. I looked, I was like, oh, okay, cool. Well, that sounds lekker. Well, till today, I haven't got anything from them. So anyway, that wasn't the reason why I came down. Bungie said come down, and obviously from there, having made mates yourself, I mean, you can name some of the guys who've played with, your Rodney Johnsons, all those guys, you know what I mean? We're still in touch. We've still got our Titzer Mars and the 21 group, you know, we keep going. So it was a good time with good mates, you know, making new mates, you know, and...
Can I ask it this way? If Tech could have had a senior side, which I think would have been phenomenal.
Yeah.
Would you have stayed at Tech?
I probably would. I knew nothing. So basically, if Martin hadn't come up to me, I would have played rugby. I would have been done. But you know, I think it was that last year of my Tech. Actually, the Lions came and like, hey, listen, blah blah blah. contract here, there and there, and I'm kind of going, because my cricket was also quite serious at the time, you know, I was playing Premier League. So, and I tried to play both and see how far I could push.
What number did you bat?
I batted number 5, I used to open the bowling. Okay. It was split, Papa. I used to hit the oaks in the ribs, the oaks knew it, and they got a few there. But I tried to balance the two to see which one I was going to go with. And obviously rugby just came out a bit on top. I had a lucky little contract back in the day, and that's the route I took.
While we're talking about the cricket, you were also a model at one stage.
You know, you got to try something and see where you can go. And at the time I was a bit slim, yeah. But,
that was before Ireland.
Yeah, that was before Ireland. Yeah, so I had a mate of mine who was involved in the thing. I was like, listen, why don't you get involved in this? I mean, you look quite mean and whatever, you know, lean. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, that sounds lekker. And yeah, I went to a few shows. On one story, we had it was a coffee ad, and you had to pretend that you've just come back on the night out with the girl that you like, you know, you come to her house and she's inviting you for coffee, you know, and like you think, what are you going to do now, you know? So I'm like, okay, cool. So now I have to act everything out. So anyway, I came prepared. I came in shorts and a t-shirt and flip-flops because I was going to take everything off, you know? So anyway, we arrive and then they say, right, here we go. So she walks out the room and I get excited. I'm busy doing a little dance and with the shirt off, you know, I think this girl, this is going to be it, you know. So I threw the pants off and whatever, stark as, and I'm sitting there waiting. So she comes in and obviously you got to act. You know, she comes in with a coffee and I'm like naked and I go, and I didn't get the part, but they were quite impressed with what I did. So yeah, that was quite funny. But yeah, listen, I had a few gigs, but I didn't think it was going to be it, you know. Rugby was more getting drunk a bit and playing with the boys, and you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do see you more as a rugby player than than a model.
Thanks.
So actually, you went on and you achieved something nice that not a lot of guys get, is to go play Provincial, and you played 5 Currie Cup games for the Lions. Amazing time. I'm going to come now to you on the 21 times, but let's talk about that. How was that feeling playing for the Lions, getting selected, getting that gig?
Yeah, mate. You know, it was a difficult time. Like 95 World Cup heroes. You know, you're watching them in 95 win the World Cup and happy days, and here you go. And then, in 3 years' time, 97, 98, 99, and you're playing with the same people. You know, it was kind of like, and again, you know, like as I say, with the colour thing and whatever, and you're kind of going, do I or don't I? But I took my gap. I was like, listen, if I'm there, I'm there. I fitted in well. I think the guys liked me. Maybe some didn't. But, you know, we were there for a common goal. We were there to play rugby, try and win as many games as possible. And, you know, you move on from there. So, yeah, it was tough. I sat bench for a long time. But 2 years.
But you pick up experience in the same time. I mean, you had some big boys that was big names in the mix at that stage.
You want to talk about a story? So we had Ellis Park, and I don't know if Bullet Dalton was captain at the time, but anyway, so Louis Kuhn was taking a conversion. So you know, you're a youngster. I was looking at my mates trying to see where they are sitting on the stands, and I'm busy looking, and Jamo just came out of nowhere. I just got a flat here.
Oh, is it?
In the game. He says, "What are you doing?" I said, "No, I'm just checking the stands." He says, "Yeah, focus on the ball. Check the ball." And you know what? He was so right. I'm there to focus on the ball, and then I got distracted by looking. And so I told the kids as well when I'm coaching, you got to focus on the ball. But listen, I wanted to hit this guy, and I'm like, oh, this is going to clean me up and eat me. I'll just obey and say, yeah, cool, whatever.
It's amazing you're telling that story, because I think I'm also doing a lot of coaching, and it's one of the things I always tell the children as soon as they get on the field, they're like checking around, where's mommy, where's daddy, where's... And that's one of the things that you have to learn very quick in your life.
100%.
Don't be a pavilion player.
Yeah, you're there to focus.
You're there, you can go play your game and do your best there. I was honoured to play with you in 97, and you went on 97 and 98. But I was in 97, we played together, Lions under 21. That was such a lucky group. One of my very close mates, Donovan
Van Vuren.
He's now in China. A brilliant guy. You were honoured to play with Donovan.
Yes, yeah, we were centres together. Yeah, we're still in touch, and obviously, as I said, we were in that group, the Tetermars group. So maybe keep in touch and see where everyone is. Ronnie Reid up in Scotland. Obviously, Van Vuren is in China. I think Andre Pretorius is in Japan. So yeah, all the guys are all over. Yeah, so we're still in touch. You know, seeing where we are, who's where.
That was a strong side, and there was even a Pietman van die Kerk coming from the West Transvaal, coming in.
The mean machine.
Mean machine.
So yeah, I mean, it was a lekker time, and those 2 years I've lost 2 Currie Cup finals. That's I never got a under 21. Sorry.
But it's strange how that side was so good, but never got the honours of winning. Under Fani Bosch.
Yes, Fani Bosch in '97 and then '98 Eugene Elof. So I think we lost to the Sharks in '97. Was that our final we lost to?
I think that was, yeah.
And then the second one was the Cheetahs in Loftus. I remember the guy got a penalty on the last minute. That ball, when he kicked it, it took so long to get over. You were like hoping it's not going to go, it's not going to go, it's not going to go, it's not going to go. Okay, it's over. Game's done. We lose. And yeah, it's just, you've worked so hard with that bunch of players for those 2 years, mate. It was something special.
And we were honoured at that stage as a fitness coach came in, there was Jake White.
Yes.
And Jake came down, he was still a junior in the coaching world, and he was running us all over the park.
Yeah.
But there was an amazing side, and a guy like Andre van die Kerk, he's in Germany now.
Yes.
You couldn't get a harder, stronger, meaner pit bull hooker than Andre van die Kerk. I mean,
also another that could give it lots, but he could back it up.
He backed it up.
So we draw the game at Loftus before we played the Sharks, before that big fight.
Yes.
I don't know if you're building up.
Yeah, I'm building up to that fight now.
So anyway, we had Loftus. We just lost to them. And what had happened in that game, the Bulls guys, they took Pietman van Niekerk. They put him into the corner. Van Niekerk, sorry. Okay, they put him in the corner and then they stitched him properly. And we stood and we watched this and we didn't react at all. So we arrived in the changing room. Drake was coaching. He slams the door behind him. I won't tell you exactly what he said, but he said he doesn't want to see that ever happen again. If your teammate gets put in a corner and you guys stand, then we've got a problem. We get involved. And I'm sure you know what I mean by getting involved.
Yeah.
So, okay, cool, like a little speech, we feel sorry for ourselves, now we got the Sharks in Durban the following week. It was the day of Princess Diana's funeral, 97 August, I can't remember whether it's the 31st or not. Run out at Kings Park. There's a bit of a scuffle that happens. I had a centre standing next to me, Shane Poak, he didn't do anything. So I just looked at him and I stitched him on him, man down. And I went to go join the boys in the forwards, and we rumbled, but that wasn't televised because the funeral was being televised. So no one saw that fight. They only saw the one at the end. So anyway, now we've got these oaks, and now we're on top there. Our game is flowing.
But everyone knows this is a heated affair now.
Yeah. So anyway, towards the end of the game, Andre Pretorius, I think, skips and he hits me, and I drop the ball, and I dive on the ball, and I try and regather and place, and then this guy comes in the elbows. Comes Pietman van Niekerk, he looks at me and he nods. So I just grip the sack, and as I turn and we hit that, yes. Then it starts. Coaches, everyone comes on and whatever. But you're not proud of it, but it did happen in the heat of the moment.
And strange enough, in the middle of all that heating was a guy called, and very famous later years, John Smith.
Yes.
Springbok captain.
Yeah,
he got bumped very hard in the middle of it all.
He was in the middle of our tight five. Gerrit Teron and Pietman and jeez, I felt sorry for him. Like the after match function, he came up and said, "Guys, hey, you guys can hit, but I don't know what I did, but and I will tell you, he was swollen. His eyes were closed, and I'm like, sorry, but yeah, that was my fault."
And even Umsadi even ran in to try and help.
No,
and
that wasn't happening.
And even on the footage, you'll see Frikkie Welsh coming in from the Sharks side.
Him and Vickers Venter were having words.
They were going at each other. I was dropped to, I think it was 2 games before, so I missed the Loftus game, and I missed that fight.
The Sharks game, yeah.
But yeah, that was a bruising encounter.
Yes, I
again.
tell you, after that Saudi catch-off, we came into the change room, and again, it was like we'd won a World Cup, and Jake was just throwing beer everywhere, you know, we just beating the Sharks, and we were like, yes, we're going to party tonight, yeah.
And you won the fight as well.
Yeah, no, that was good fun. That was good fun.
Today's modern rugby, there's no more fighting.
No.
And I mean, if you do any of that, what we did at that stage, you'll be banned for life.
Yeah,
that's not even you. There's not even a. But although with all of that said, there was a camaraderie around that as well. And I'm not promoting fighting. That's the last thing I do. But it was a bit of we stick together.
No, 100%. But then we did. I mean, after that Bulls game, where everyone got stuck in. Conrad Yankees from fullback. The fight's happening on the 22, and we ran across the field to go check out. Hey, don't mess with the brothers here. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and no one stood back. And so I think that's did build a bit of camaraderie. And then again, you go into the after-match function. So we had a free beers with the Alex. Like, yeah, stitched you one, yes, you caught me,
no one is angry. Everyone is angry.
Yeah.
Everyone is
happy.
happy.
Just John, he was just polluted. His eyes were.
Give me 1 second, and just because he's a brilliant mate of mine, Donovan, he's a master brain of rugby. That guy, as a centre, Donovan for feeling.
No, he used to distribute
he just knew what to do.
100%. No, he was good putting people into space. I mean, he was a great player. And, you know, and again, I don't know how, with all the talent that we had, where the guys ended up going, you know.
He was lucky to go to, he's got a Barbarian jersey that's hanging in Moras as well.
Okay.
He played one Barbarian game as well.
Wow.
But amazing the group of players, and I was honoured to do the 97 part. You had the second year with the Oaks, but looking at that photos, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, you know, you look at that, Dean Hall, Andre Pretorius,
Johannes Labuschagne. We had two Springboks from the 97 year.
And Conrad Yankees, there was like 5 Oaks, you know, they came through the ranks. So, and it was tight though, it was tough. I mean, you look at each position, especially, you look at the Griquas. I mean, Adrich Libbe came out of Griquas. I mean, that was like my first match against him, and they like ran over me like a steam train. So, I was like 21, I'm like, this is not going to happen the whole day.
I'm stopping rugby.
I better sort my stuff out, you know, so just went in a bit lower and just chopped him. I just made sure I was going to be in his face before he even catches the ball. Whether I'm offside or not, I don't care. I'm going to be in this guy's face, and he's not running over me again. And then that was that. So, yeah.
Sax, what is your feeling about the importance of club rugby and I know there's a lot of clubs trying their best now, and I'm not talking about the universities. I'm talking about the open size like they used to be known. Well, there needs to be a movement in it on this whole thing, because they need funding, and I think club rugby really needs a blow up to really get, because looking at what we were just talking, most of that Oaks came from club rugby.
Yes. 100%.
And it was strong. It was our competition in that year with the under 21s. There was 5 or 6 teams really running at the under 21s, except you guys running at the top. But I'm now talking out of a competitive point. We had Rao, we had Vits Tech, we had us at Pirates at that stage. Vits University had a proper side with Steve Jerosic, Mark Bonnet, and all that Oaks. And all of that Oak has just made it so much more special. So looking at that log and looking at, I mean, even with Wits and all of them, there was a competitive league. You could have on any day, and even you take a Randford team on a given day on a Saturday, you were in for a very hard match.
I think it's important, and obviously the funding, it's where it starts, and obviously the clubs that have got like more funding, they'll take players from wherever, and the players will actually go there. Their mates will follow their mates going into a better club, so that's where you kind of lose the players out of that club system, and it's just one of those things. And I don't know, I just wish SA Rugby could actually do something and just, you know, I mean, to me, like to say, I'll use Pirates as an example, right? You've got, let's say, 5 senior sides, 5 senior sides. You know, those 3rd and 4th team mates maybe be on loan to a Wanderers. You know what I mean? To go and fill up a gap at like a second team and a third team, or maybe the first team level, you know? I mean, a lot of guys come out of the third team at Pirates and then you end up playing first team. So I don't know if that'll ever happen, but it'll actually probably plug the gap a bit where the clubs could actually have numbers. And I know no one would like to go and play in a different jersey for another club, but just for the sake of rugby, if we could, and obviously the funding is going to come into it. So it's a really difficult one. I don't know how we look at that and trying to get that back on track.
But I don't want to see the fact that varsity is being bubbled up stunningly, and I love every part of varsity, but I don't want to see the gap between varsity and open club, let's call it open clubs or the normal league, opening up too much, because if you have that gap, you're going to end up with these sides just falling behind completely, because the big sides will just adding to the big players, and this. So a guy will say, I can't play for Pirates or for Wanderers or for, because if I want to play big rugby, I need to move, and that's. I hope we're not getting there.
I hope so too. But I'm sure the guys at the top can make a plan and make it happen. It's. I mean, you look at Redfern team now. A guy came in with big bucks, and now they almost like they're back to like. You know what I mean? So it needs like a person to come and say, right, let's go. But again, that doesn't last. I mean, that guy's not going to throw money for the next 10 years in that club. You know, it's normally a year or two, and then he's like, if he's got the good out of it, lekker. If he hasn't, I've actually lost money, I'm not going to do it again. You know what I mean? And again, like as I say, I hope the guys at the top, like Osarus, can actually be able to put money in there and make it happen, you know? I mean, we've got such huge talent in South Africa, it's all over the place. You know, like even now I'm doing a program for Township Rugby. Saturday mornings, the program's finished now, but we've got under 8s, under 9s, under 10s, and it goes through all the way to under 17s. And we've just given a guy a full scholarship at Northcliffe. There's talent, the guys are there. It's just that, you know, they don't have, let's say, the funds to go to a school like in Northcliffe to come to us. They're a bit too far. I mean, you've got clubs like Kagiso, Ditao, and there's talent everywhere, mate. I'm there every Saturday and I'm checking. That. I've got like a whole book of oaks, you know. But I know I do see kids, they pop in now and then to come and see what's happening, you know what I mean? But there's talent there. So, but then again, for me, if you're going to come and take a kid there, you don't just look after him for those 5 years and then dump him after matric. That's the best part you got to do, is the next 5 years after matric on how you look after that laity. Because those 5 years mean nothing. It's what happens to him after the 5 years. That's where I can look at the school and say, well done, Kez, you did that, you looked after that oak. He got to the top, he either played rugby or he turned into a lawyer or whatever. But I get them to matric.
Successful life,
Yeah, and then after matric, then they dump oak. Then they move on and they get another oak. Now that oak has been taken out of an environment, put into a different environment, and looking around and going, this is not going to work for me. And then he'll finish school and then he comes back to his own environment. Now he's been chased away by his own oaks because he's not part of them now, if you know what I mean. So you end up guys committing suicide because they can't fit in anymore. You know, you've taken a guy out the sticks, you've given him this lack of life throughout high school and da-da-da. He's jumped on the plane, he's gone overseas, he's seen things and he's played rugby there, he's gone. And then he comes back to that life and then he even looks himself, no, I can't fit in here anymore. You know?
It's amazing what you're saying, because in the same time there's two gaps. There's a gap just after school, and then there's the gap when you are retiring. And that for me is a very tough time as well, looking at guys and seeing you were a year on the field, you were playing, you like with you've got the whole credential of everywhere you went, and then you're nowhere land. The day you say I retire, then 2 years down the line, I always tell the story when I played at Vits, I became first team captain, and you're like, the man, you Vits team captain, and I retired, and 2 years down the line I went into the gym in Krugersdorp, and there's a guy standing and he's a Vits boy, and I'm like, you gotta tell him, you must know this is Cookies. And I walked in, and as I stood there I said, hi, how's it? I'm Cookies. And how's it? I'm Cookies.
Cookies, yeah.
And he was just looking at me, and I says, 3 years ago I was captain, and that's a problem. Suddenly you're in nowhere land, and people forget you. You become a photo, you become a jersey, and
No, 100%. And you know what? And I think also, whether it's SA Rugby or Provincial, if the guy's done yards and given blood to a Provincial side, that Provincial team should be doing something after the guys played, looking after him. I mean, you look at the New Zealanders, most of them, they turn into coaching. They're all over New Zealand, all over the world in Europe, busy coaching New Zealanders, head coaches of different clubs. We're starting to get this slowly. We've got Franco Smith now, Albert van der Berg, you know, they're all overseas, so learning their trade, and hopefully they're going to come back and do it. I see Akaz is coming back again, so which is quite lekker. He can add in some lekker flavour here, but that's where the union or SA Rugby, like, okay, these guys have played, they want to be coaching, okay, let's help them with their coaching, let's push them, okay, right, yeah, we're going to send you over there, you've got 3 years, go do your stuff, then we're going to come back and check where we can fit you in. I don't think we have that type of system, but I think probably Russie's onto it in getting Oaks out, and Jacques again, he's out back in Europe. So I think we are going there slowly, and then just get some information out there, get it together, and then come back, okay, this is what these guys are doing here, this is what they're doing, this is what we're doing. Then you bring out your own plan of how to mix everything up together and put it into one pot. I think we are going there. I mean, you look at our Springbok side right now, geez, I don't see us being beaten for the next 2 World Cups.
It's just got a selection of teams and players. And
all our coaches in Scotland, I'm sure Rassie will phone Franco and go, hey, listen, bud, what's happening in Scotland? No, they're moving to this, they're doing this, they're doing that. Sharing information, preparing us, and okay, cool. Jacques, what's happening in Dublin? Now he'll say, okay, cool, lekker. Whoever's in Japan, hey, what's happening over there? You know, and he's okay, this is the trend, right? We've got to stop this trend, this is how we're going to do it. You know what I mean? So it just adds a bit of spice there, but I think we're on the right track.
It's actually your motto, your mantra as a coach today, being all this, what you did and everything. What's the main aim when Zach Sherwa walks onto a coaching field with his whistle over his neck? Obviously, me as a coach walk out and I have my message. I've got my motto. What's yours?
Mine is mainly just discipline, eh? You know, and I said to the Oaks, if you're on time, you're late. You know, remember, Fani Bosch, guy came in, I think we started training at 4 o'clock, and the guy arrived at 3:30. He chased him away. That type of thing, so discipline, you've got to be there at 3 o'clock. You're there, you don't arrive and then go, no, and I've still got the same thing. I mean, I chase guys away. So we start training at 2 o'clock, okay, cool guys, you got time to train, not time to train, to change, do your stuff. We start at 2. We start at 2, so you should be ready 15 minutes before getting ready. When I go for 2 o'clock, we're on the field together and we take a lap. I can't have guys dripping down and doing whatever. So yeah, I'd say mainly discipline, because I think if you get that right, it sends a whole message through to everyone. And then the teachers in school are actually respecting the rugby boys. They're not longer thugs anymore, like, oh, your rugby boys are this. So we are trying to send a message to the teachers that discipline comes from rugby. So in all the rugby Oaks will be hello ma'am, hello sir, you know what I mean, they'll be early for class, and now you'll get the 1 or 2 like your Saxes, they'll come and bend the rules and whatever, but the majority of the guys will be in line, you know, to be doing the right thing and arriving there. And we always say to them to be nice to everyone. If you're nice to the teachers, they'll let you go 15 minutes early, then you can come and get changed and whatever. If you're going to be horrible, you're going to get your detentions, you're going to be held in class, and you're going to be late, and then you're not going to be playing, you're going to be dropped and whatever. So you try and give them the whole story. The guy's like, yeah, okay, coach, you know, I won't be late anymore.
I think one must really work on rugby players not to become the untouchables, and that happens so much, especially in high school.
Yeah.
The first team boys become untouchable. And I wish that any school, any teacher, any coach that's watching this really works on that, because the first team guys to get to a stage where they almost become arrogant about where they are. And unfortunately, the arrogant guys don't make it in rugby. So the quicker we can get rid of that, the better.
So I think we've got a good balance with our first team at Northcliffe. I mean, we're punching above our weight. We're playing the co-ed schools now, so we're getting there, you know what I mean? So we're just showing the Oaks, listen, this is how you got to keep up with these Oaks. Obviously, we don't have the numbers yet to be matching, so we will team up with 2 schools to go and take on whoever. But we are heading in the right direction. So making sure that you eat healthy, you're doing your gym stuff, you know, so you're not going to be getting hurt. And you know, because most guys at government schools, they'll just turn up, they don't train and play touch, and then they want to go and play on the uffies and then they get 100 and they wonder why they got 100 because you're not ready for that physicality. So prepare yourself and then, go out onto the field and then you can go and smash.
Coming a bit personal, talking to you beforehand, we were talking about your father, and we were talking about one of the first things that I noticed so quickly about it was you said, my biggest supporter.
Yeah, no, listen, my dad came from Malawi, my mom from Transkei, so there's no rugby in Malawi, so they wouldn't have even seen it. So with me going to these schools, especially the high schools, starting to play rugby, I mean, he just became a follower, him and my mom. I promise you, those two, they know the rules. My mom won tennis and cricket, because I was playing it, okay, not tennis so much, but cricket and rugby. They know the rules. They'll sit there. She'd be screaming at the TV at the ref, no, you made the wrong call, there wasn't a forward. You know what I mean? And then coming to Ellis Park and coming to watch, coming to have a look and feel the vibe. So my mom doesn't want too many people around, and it's not her thing, but cricket, she likes it. She can just sit there. There's not much really screaming and shouting, just keep her in the box and whatever. But those would be the outings that I'll take them on. So, to something different for them, not having known anything about it. I mean, my mom just knew growing up was like netball. That was it. Yeah. And then now she knows more about cricket, about tennis now, because she's been exposed to all these things. And again, it just means exposing people to things, you know what I mean? And they went through the effort of the whole playing career in following rugby, even though I wasn't playing. They're watching a game, they understand the rules, and all of this. And, it just makes life lekker, Yeah. Some days on a Friday night, I wouldn't allow them to come to Ellis Park a bit too much, and then I had to try and guide them out. I'm not just watching at home, because we had other plans after, you know what I mean? Yeah. She'd watch it on TV and say, yeah, you missed like 6 tackles and whatever,
Sure.
Okay, was it that much?
So unfortunately, your father passed, but you still got mummy left, and you got the 2 sisters, and you got a niece.
I do.
And I think your niece would most probably turn your finger around to do some stuff.
She's good. I mean, she just passed now her modules now, and she's also cracking it there now. So I just told you, Özil, I just 6 months ago I got my counselling course. So now I can counsel the kids. So the naughty oak that was naughty is now going to tell the kids how not to be naughty.
but it's a bit better way to come from. I mean, it's like a guy telling people not to smoke, but he never smoked in his life.
Yeah. It's something like with the kids. I mean, I can pick up the trouble words. I mean, we relate immediately. I cannot check. I come somewhere. Come here. What's up? No, a bit of this. Okay, cool. Don't stress me. We got it, And then you gel. I mean. The school has got me also to try and help out the kids that are, like going through bad patches. I mean, I know Tato and Tebe, I coached them years ago. They're about 5-6 years out of school now. I still get a call from them. Hey, sir, how are you doing? Is everything okay? You know what I mean? And these are the kids where the teacher says, oh, these two, don't think it's going to happen. And I'm like, boys, we have to hit the books hard. We have to hit the books hard no matter what you want. Sport, it's only going to be that long. Your career can be this long in what you've studied. So you got to give a balance on 2 of them. Make sure it works. You can play hard and then you can study hard, as long as you're doing that. And then Ike's made it through the trick. The one got a bursary at UJ. The other one is studying to be like a cameraman and all that type of stuff. So they're loving life, At least I had an influence in some way, like, listen, boy, go that route, don't go there.
But that's the thing about being a coach, is you're actually the bearer of hope, because if you didn't stand in on that stage and you stopped the guy and said, don't do it, you must probably be going a different route.
No,
so you're definitely a bearer of hope. Sax, let's just get quickly before we end up, your name. You're going to have to give us your whole name here so that we can just, I'm not going to try it, you're going to say it to us again. But
Sakoma Chirwa.
Okay, and the full one?
Sakoma Conrotate Chirwa. And then my other one, I'm not going
to repeat that. You can go for it again. Give us that one again. Fantastic. Sax, I'm going to keep to your name of Sax that I know. You're a brilliant guy. I love you to bits. You've been, over many years, you've been the fun guy. And every week I've got Uit Die Koekblik Ep8. And Uit Die Koekblik moment that we have, and the moment for me this week is interviewing you're such a fun guy, you're such a positive guy, and against everything that could have gone wrong, you have gone through it, and you have made the sex label, and you've done your thing, and you're the life of a party, you're the life of a team, you're a guy that never stands back, but what I like about you is you back up a guy. Doesn't matter who, what, how, you're a brilliant guy, and for that I salute you as a player, and thank you for being part of the Koekblik. Thank you for being part of this journey for us as well, and please just keep going with what you are doing.
No, thanks very much, and thanks for having me on board.
Thank you, Vits.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lekker.
Thank you.